Hedgehog! I'm still a hard man! Let's go! Alrighty then. We have some people in Cope. And it's really sad because you would think that these would be people that would be like on my side. So either they're extremely ignorant or they just don't get it, dude. Like, I don't even know how this is an argument or a topic of discussion. But regardless, Sonic the Hedgehog is not an anime and it's not Japanese. Just because something is drawn by a Japanese artist doesn't mean that it's an anime, okay? Sonic the Hedgehog is a video game character. It's not an anime. Take a look. Sonic the Hedgehog was indeed influenced by Western cartoons. The character's original design was meant to mimic American cartoons rather than the design trends of Western video game characters at the time. Sonic's personality was based on Bill Clinton, and his look was inspired by classic Western cartoon characters like Felix the Cat and Mickey Mouse, as well as cultural references such as Michael Jackson's Thriller Boots for his red shoes. So, I mean, after all, there is Sonic CD, and it has Michael Jackson music featured in it, okay? In fact, Sonic's color scheme is designed after the American flag. The red, white, blue scheme, etc. that Sonic has is the same as the American flag. So, yeah. The television series Sonic the Hedgehog, also known as Sonic Satam, was produced by DIC Entertainment and featured a darker and more dramatic storyline. Okay, so yeah. Additionally, the boom era of Sonic, which included a redesign of Sonic and his friends, was created by Western designers, further emphasizing the franchise's connection to Western cartoon styles.
Hello YouTube, so today I'll be talking about what Japan thinks about Sonic and Sega. So one of my patrons asked me to do this video, and I thought it would be interesting because I always thought that it was kind of strange that most Western countries, or at least in the US, I've seen that people associate Sega with Sonic, and that's about it, or maybe retro games. But in Japan, when you say Sega, I think they'll think about maybe Hatsune Miku, Puyo Puyo, and all those other titles. And right now, since Sega bought Atlas, I guess that too, but that's a little bit different. So let's go through the comments, and I'll just be reading the Japanese comments in English. I'll be translating it. And I don't feel like I've accomplished something when playing it. His eyes are stuck together. Maybe because there wasn't any anime. So many people say that it's good to do a speed run, but most people who play more than 2 times, they try to go for all the rings and then go to the checkpoint or find the secret items. So it's the complete opposite of what you would expect to do in a speed run. I thought it was gonna be a game where you could run freely, and it was the complete opposite. I bought the first game and adventures only. I really liked adventure. And rats aren't popular, or mouse. It's from Mega Drive. Fast scrolling games aren't gonna be popular in Japan because he isn't saving any princess. I don't feel like, oh yes, I want to play Sonic. It makes me feel motion sickness. In Japan, rats aren't popular, or mouse aren't popular, mice. What about that electric mouse? Isn't it a game where you just run to collect coins? No, it's about a game where you run to collect rings. I don't feel like going to...
Okay, so one of the reasons why the Japanese do not like Sonic is because his character features resemble a mouse. Because he was influenced by Mickey Mouse, and Felix the Cat. And mouses and rats are very unpopular in Japan. It's just their culture. So here's some random Japanese pedestrians. And they'll tell you that Sonic is Western. So here you go. Here's random Japanese people, and they all say the same thing.
マリオ作ったのメーカーは任天堂でしょ、なのでソニックは
ソニック、任天堂じゃないの？
ジャンプしてボックスなんか開けたりするやつ。Hey guys and girls on Ask Japanese! Do Japanese people know who Sonic is? Sonic seems to be very, very known still abroad, but not as many people seem to know Sonic here. This is a discussion that me and the director had. He said, not many Japanese people know Sonic. His theory is that no one really knows Sonic. I think they will know Sonic because he's always featured on the Olympic Games, Mario and Sonic. So I think some people will know, but to what extent do people know? Let's go and find out. And let's ask Japanese people. Don't forget, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave us a like. Let's go and ask Japanese. じゃあこのキャラクター知っているかなあ、マリオマリオこのキャラクターはわかんないなんだっけ名前わかんないけど見たことありますおーじゃあ名前2人とも知らないですかはいそうソニック何してるキャラクターだと思いますかなんか戦うやつですよねなんかと戦うなんか私の家になんかゲームあって Wii でソチオリンピックのなんか Wii のソフトでいましたオリンピックのイメージが強いはいどこのメーカーのキャラクターだと思いますか全然わかんない
Here's some other people.
ヘッジホッグわかりますかわかんないハリネズミでした狼の方が近い狼の方がかっこいいよね永久にオリンピックしてるよねずっとオリンピックしてるよねそれで知ったそれで持ってるんですねわかんない見るからどういった動物がとかどこからしてるんですかなんかなんだろうタイトルわかりますかスーパーマリオブラザーズとか知らないソニック走ってるイメージしかないオリンピックのあとスマブラのイメージ強い何をよくするキャラクターだと思いますか回る確かに回る私走ってるイメージしか
キツネだと思います。
ハリネズミでした。
ハリネズミか。
ハリネズミ。
もうそう
言われてみれば。
でいいの。
なので、
ソニック。たまには
ホーク。知ってるイメージしかないです。飛んだりそう。どの動物がメインになってるんですか？もっと。じゃないの。オオカミだと思ってた。オオカミ？猫。もっと小さい動物なんです。ハリネズミです。
確かにハリ感。
あ、でもわかるかも。ソニック・ザ・ヘッジホッグって言います。
知らんかった。
よろしくお願いします。
ゲームたまにやってますか？
ゲーム？まあたまにはやりますね。
ゲームは PS4 プレ4でウイイレとかやってます。
このキャラクターしてるでしょ？
ああ知ってます。
マリオです。自分マリオカートやってました。
次のキャラクターは知ってるかどうかじゃじゃん。
ソニック。
ソニックですね。
じゃあみんなソニックのゲームもやったんですか？
なんだっけなんかその全員集合みたいななんだっけ
スマブラ
スマブラでたまにちょっと出てくるんで。
そうですね、自分も友達と一緒でスマブラでキャラクターの一つとして使ってます。
オリジナル知ってますか？
オリジナル
は知らないです俺は。
わかんないです。
スーパーマリオブラザーズ的な感じなんです。
そうなんですね。
このキャラクター一番なんか何をやってそうですか？
めっちゃ速いやつイメージ。なんか
足速いイメージですね。
じゃあ元は何の動物なんですか？
キツネ？
俺も一緒、キツネだと思います。
ハリネズミでした。
ハリネズミか。
ハリネズミ。
もう、そう
言われてみれば
言われてみれば。
なのでスピード出してコロコロコロコロって転んでるので悪くなるんじゃないですか、ハリネズミが。
そういうことか。
なかなかソニック日本ではそんなに知られてないってことですかね。
そうですね、あんまりいないと思います。マリオほど知ってる人少ないと思います。
マリオ作ったのメーカーはニンテンドーでしょ、なのでソニックは
ソニック、任天堂じゃないの？任天堂じゃないですか？
もともとはそうではなかったので今はスマブラに出てるんですけど。
Okay. Enough of that. All right, and there was a little bit more nonsense that was thrown at me in regards to Sega. So, I was explaining to some dumbass, or etc. types of dumbasses. They were saying that Sega is a Japanese corporation. It's a Japanese corporation now, but it wasn't originally. It actually was not originally. It was set up in 1940 by American businessmen Martin Bromley, Arving Bromberg, and James Humbert, who formed Standard Games in Honolulu, Japan. So it was founded in 1940, dumbass. Yeah, that's right, dumbass. Sonic is not an anime. Is it influenced by Japanese? Yeah, kind of. But just because something is made by a Japanese developer, Japanese artist, video game designer, it's still not an anime. An anime. Is it influenced by Japanese? Yeah, kind of. It's still not an anime. Just because... Okay. Dude, why can I not see my chat? Dude, I can't even see you. Like, you guys in chat, I can't even see you on my phone. I have to look it up on my browser. Anyways, the bottom line is that Sonic the Hedgehog was influenced by Western cartoons. And you know what? Another dumbass on 3-4's community posts said something about Kirby being an anime. I don't know too much about Kirby, and this is kind of getting off track, but take a look right fast. Because most of the people that watch 3-4 are not very smart people. They're not very bright people at all. So I'll go ahead and look up and see Kirby. Yeah, Kirby is Japanese. Okay. I'm just making sure. Okay. Yeah, Kirby is Japanese. Okay. All right. Yeah, Kirby is Japanese. Okay. Yeah, somebody was saying that Kirby was an anime and Sonic's an anime. Well, yeah, it looks like, yeah, I would agree. Kirby is Japanese. Sega was only bought up in the 1970s by Japanese shareholders. I don't know when Sega exactly has a brand switched over to Japan. It should be on Wikipedia. And by the way, the Japanese are very proud of their military past. Unlike in Germany, sadly, you know, Germany was indoctrinated after the war. Japan after the Second World War was not so indoctrinated with demilitarization. And so the Yasukuni Shrine, and like these other things that celebrate Japanese wartime militarism and the Japanese Empire, that's still up. Like, there is no monument to anything that happened in China in the 1930s in Japan. No memorial to what happened in China in the 1930s. That's how the Japanese are. Sega was selling slot machines to World War II American GIs, like when it was at war with Japan. And like, I'm going to tell you right now, the Japanese, I mean, they have reformed and they are a democracy and they do believe in democracy, of course, but they're not so indoctrinated and blindsided. They're not so blindsided. But anyways, like, they're not so blindsided and indoctrinated as people think they are. And the reason why the Japanese were not indoctrinated like the Germans were was because of their culture. The Germans were already Western, Christian, and they were already wrapped into Western culture and Western custom. That's why it was so relatively easy for the Allied occupation forces to indoctrinate them into democracy and pacifism and pessimism and Western nihilism. The Japanese are not Christian. They're not Western. They have no relation to Western culture. So they weren't taken into the social justice bullshit as much as the Germans were. Anyways, Sonic the Hedgehog is definitely not an anime. I looked it up and I did my research. Some Japanese mainly know Sonic from from playing Olympic games and from Smash Brothers. That's about it. That's the full extent of the Japanese exposure to Sonic. I've also read that some Japanese fans like Sonic Adventures, but overall, if you were to ask, like, the typical Japanese what they think of Sonic, they would tell you that they don't know. They don't even know what brand he's from or nothing. In Japan, when people think of Sega, they think of Hatsune Miku and Puyo Puyo, which is like a, it's kind of like a, Tetris game with anime characters. Japanese know more about Hatsune Miku than they do of Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay? Pikachu and Mario are cultural icons in Japan. Sonic is not. Sonic is a Western cartoon. 100% it is a Western cartoon. It is not anime, nor is it Japanese. Sonic is American. In fact, the red, white, and blue concept of Sonic's color is directly based on the American flag. His personality is based on Bill Clinton. He has the exact same looks as Felix the Cat and Mickey Mouse. Sonic, 100%, is a Western cartoon. So on that note, Interdimensional Lizard says, Sonic enjoyers exposed. Oh, you can enjoy Sonic. I'm just saying that Sonic is a Western cartoon. Sonic is not an anime. Sonic is not Japanese. And we got Ace of Gestures saying, boring, low energy, another gesture win. Well, there you go, buddy. Going to be like the Dark Diddler. Just like the Dark Diddler, and say that you won when in fact you lost. You have CP on your hard drive, Ace of Gestures. You have cheese pizza on your hard drive. That says enough about you. Interdimensional Lizard says even the name Sega is English. It comes from service games because they sold coin-operated machines to military bases. Yeah, and if it wasn't for the United States occupation of post-war Japan, Sega wouldn't even been Japanese to begin with. That was the first exposure of Sega in Japan. And I imagine that's probably why a lot of Japanese don't like Sega, because a lot of Japanese did not like that occupation. There is a lot of backlash against that occupation after the war. But yeah, Sega is not Japanese. Sonic is a video game character. It's not an anime. Okay, video game characters are not anime. Anime is a completely different industry. Anime is an entirely different industry. It's a Western cartoon. Dumbass. Let's see here. Code of Truth says the Khazarians are the problem. They are, dude. Like, they completely control Western movie studios and Western brands. And even Soibachu is Khazarian. Yeah, even Soibachu Jack is Khazarian. These games indoctrinate the youth with creatures that look demonic, that look like demonic abominations. I would actually agree with Code of Truth there. I would agree with Code of Truth. Rick Perry says that he is a hard man. Code of Truth says, what part does the Khazarian Mafia have to do with all of this? The Japanese nation was free from the Khazarians long ago. No more. Yeah, well, you can thank the Americans and their brutal occupation after World War II in Japan for that. America itself had already been taken over and completely influenced and infiltrated anyways by Freemasonry. So anyway, Sonic the Hedgehog is not Japanese. There's nothing Japanese about Sonic the Hedgehog. And Rick Perry, I was going to talk to you about that stuff that you said about Jay Dyer. I don't really trust Jay Dyer that much. I'm not for sure if Jay Dyer is really trustworthy. Anyway, Sonic the Hedgehog is not Japanese. He's not an anime. Pikachu and Mario are anime. Like, if you want to say that Pikachu or Mario are anime and the Japanese know them, that would be true. Sonic is a Western, gay-ass, homosexual degenerate, okay? Sonic the Hedgehog is a product of gay, homosexual, Western degeneracy. Protestant, Western, Freemasonic, Khazarian degeneracy. So there you go. Pokemon is not truly an anime either, since it started as a video game. Yeah, but Japanese people know what Pokemon is. Code of Truth says that Christ was not European. Well, I'm not going to debate that. Christ was a Sephardic or Khazarian psyop. Christian power is Khazarian power. Christianity is woke because of this. Yeah, I guess you're right, man. Christianity in Europe preceded the rise of Western civilization, at least modern Western anyway. But that's a concept for another day. The West is really secularized and really been moving away from that to begin with. And the type of Protestant evangelical Christianity that's popular these days has little or nothing to do with even the mainline Protestant branches that were in the colonial period or even were popular in 19th century America. Even the Baptist Church, as it is now, is considerably different from what the Baptists were 100 years ago or more, or even 50 years ago. Like, a lot of evangelical Baptists do not like Billy Graham. And Billy Graham's preaching and stuff was not even 100 years ago. That's how much evangelical Christianity has changed. So anyways, yeah. The people that were in, I'm fine. Third Four the Second is cool. I like Third Four. I don't have a problem with Third Four, but some of the people that follow him, I have to say, are pretty fucking stupid. People like Goat Corpse and Total Janny Death and those people, they're all a bunch. If they're not Euros alts, they're real close to Euros and Galdi, and they're not exactly the most wholesome of people, and they just like to start shit, and they start shit with me. I don't start shit with them. Sonic the Hedgehog is not Japanese. Trust me. If he was Japanese, he would look very different. Rats and mice are not popular in Japan. Hedgehogs look a lot like rats in Japan, and those kind of animals are very unpopular in Japan. They're considered to be foreboding evil. Evil abominations or evil yokai. Like in Japanese history, rats and mice were considered to be evil yokai spirits. And so Sonic the Hedgehog would basically look like a yokai, or an extremely very bizarre and very weird exaggerated thing. Like the last thing that Japanese would think of Sonic is that he is the good guy. But anyways, there's a lot of retards in Third for the Second's chat. People that are very mentally handicapped and very dumb and stupid people. Just total absolute dumbasses. And by the way, Goat Corpse and Total Janny Death are the same person. They're just using different alts. It's the same person. It's all kind of the same person. Anyway, let's see here. Christianity was a useful tool for Khazarians. It's apparent from the size of Sonic's eyes that he is not Japanese. He has large eyes. No, anime characters have large eyes, but Sonic's eyes are too Western. Okay, it's just like Mickey Mouse. He has the same eyes as Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse and Sonic are not popular in Japan. And I agree with Japan. Sonic the Hedgehog sucks. Sonic the Hedgehog is lame and it sucks. Goat Corpse, how do you explain all the then? I'm not messing with that. Bronx Beats. You come in here and you make the IQ in the chat, you bring it down to room temperature. Forge Gang, the only safe haven for intellectuals, completely free from the mentally challenged. There you go, bro. There you go. Free from Western Freemasonic Khazarian degeneracy. British PSYOP. British deep state degeneracy. American Anglo-Dutch system Freemasonic degeneracy, bro. And Khazarian degeneracy. Let's see here. I'm not even going to even bother to mess with that. Like, I've already explained that Sonic the Hedgehog is not Japanese. Just go back here earlier to my video. You make the
Mouse. Isn't it a game where you
Look at
just
this.
run to collect coins? No, it's about a game where you run to collect rings. I don't feel like going to...
Okay.
なんか
Look at this.
私の家になんかゲームあって Wii でソチオリンピックのなんか Wii のソフトでいました。
If you actually listen to like this this roadside chat with Japanese, they will tell you themselves. Sonic is a Western character. Code of Truth says, God is with Forge Gang! There you go, buddy. Yeah, Sonic characters are Western cartoons, and they're not an anime. Sonic the Hedgehog is a Western cartoon. All of the characters in Sonic the Hedgehog are not autistic, and they're not kawaii, and they're not Japanese. Sonic the Hedgehog is something that a neurotypical with Down syndrome would aspire to follow. Sonic the Hedgehog is Western and neurotypical. There's nothing Japanese and there's nothing whatsoever even remotely anime about it. So that's all I had to say.